So good morning to everyone and good evening to Richard, who has taken his time specifically for Western Overseas at his 9 p.m. He will take us through the UNBC presentation, and we're going to make it a more interactive session because I know that all your counselors are amazing and they will be asking some great questions. So we'll try and make it a very interactive session rather than just a presentation session. Over to you, Richard.
All right, thank you for taking your time today and to meet with me, UNBC. Like the Shita said, this is going to be an interactive session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the middle of the presentation. We can go from there. If there's any pressing questions right now, we can also start with that. Otherwise, I can go through the presentation, and at the end of the presentation, you can also ask your questions there. So which one do you guys prefer?
Yeah, Simran, which one do you prefer? Do you want to ask questions first and then go to presentation, or presentation first and then go to questions?
Ma'am, we would like to take the presentation first and later on we will ask the questions related to the university.
Okay. Do you want us
Sounds
to
good.
start now or after 2-3 minutes?
Ma'am, just give us 2 minutes. Our team is just like yet to join. So just give us 2 minutes only.
Yeah, perfect. I hope that's okay, Richard.
Yep.
So they've been, they give us few market insights that how we can promote UNBC more in Punjab, more in North India. They do travel to a lot of places, not now, but they have been traveling to a lot of places just like us, doing education fairs. So they have been pretty supportive, but it's just that with your insights they will be having more marketing ideas that how they can promote it, and the counselors can be more and more confident because everyone gets afraid for a 4-year degree at times.
Not a problem. That's what I'm here to do, to help make sure that you guys have all the information you need. And also, Dashita is also a good resource as well. So is Mahak in terms of answering some of the questions. I have full faith and trust in them. Whenever they do have questions, they do reach out to me to ask for the answers. Sometimes they may not like my answers because it doesn't fit with current policies, but we work together as a team to make sure that you guys are supported as well. So yeah, it is very important for us to make sure that you guys as Western Overseas feel supported. And the Shita has made sure that this is an important agent for us to touch base with. And that's why she's able to drag me out at 9 p.m. tonight to have a webinar for you guys. Otherwise, I don't usually, spend my evening on work stuff. But for Dashita and for you guys, I'll be able to do so.
Thank you so much, Richard. So we've got 18, 19, 20 attendees we've got. And I believe they're all there in the office. Simran, are you there in the office? Yeah, they're all in the office. So do you all want the camera and the mic access so that you can interact with Richard?
Sure, why not?
Okay, I'm promoting everyone to panelists so they can have a word with you directly. Please put your mics on mute once the presentation starts. And Richard, I think that we can now take it forward.
Sure, sounds good. So, welcome to the presentation of University of Northern British Columbia. We are one of 96 universities and colleges in Canada. There's about 16 in British Columbia, and we are the only one in northern British Columbia. So we are 1 hour flight away. If you want to drive, it's about an 8 to 10 hour drive, depending on how many stops you make and if there's any construction. I just did the drive on Sunday night. So it took me about 8.5 hours to get back from Vancouver up to Prince George. So it was a very nice drive. Although the bugs at this time of the year is not fun. So you have a lot of windshields bug. So I'm just going to play a little video of our university if you want to take a look at it. So just a quick video of our university. I know probably with the internet connection, it was probably a little choppy, but the Shita does have a copy of it. So if you ever want to review it, please let us know. So welcome to Prince George. This is our university, University of Northern British Columbia. We overlook the hill of the city and we are surrounded by the Rocky Mountains. On the very bottom right corner is our residence. And also on the very right side is our Northern Sports Center. Students, if they want to stay in residence, they can. Let's talk about climates. Our climate average high is -8 in the wintertime. In the summer, fall right now, we're kind of in between summer and fall. It goes from +25 to +8. In the evening right now is actually very cool, about 11 degrees. So you don't need the AC to sleep. And you just need a nice blanket and then you are able to open the window. So you can save energy there. We are a 4-season city where you have all your summer and winter activities. If you like the outdoors, we are accessible to the outdoors within 10 to 15 minutes. So on the very right, or on the very left is our Mount Robson, where it's glacial water. That's where the water's so blue. On the very top right corner is the Ancient Forest. It's a project between our professors and the provincial government of British Columbia to help put this up. Now, what's significant about the Ancient Forest is because it's one of the few rainforests that is located in British Columbia. So I don't know if it's important to you, but 299 days of sunshine in Prince George, that's something that we've always been proud of. Prince George is a 20-minute city, meaning that you can get anywhere within 20 minutes of city. So the airport is at the very bottom right corner here. And if you want to go from the airport to the university, there are taxis available or shuttle bus available. And it's about a 20-minute ride from the airport, which is the furthest area, to our university. Now on the very left picture here, you'll see that our university is situated. This is the back shot. As far as your eye can see, that's where our university line is, or land. So we have a lot of areas to grow if we do ever want to grow as a university. But what this gives the students and the professors access to is live specimens. So in the spring, the fall, the professors love taking our students out to the nature forest, especially if they're doing any forest ecology or natural resource management. They can always go through live specimens instead of looking at a petri dish or at a textbook. Okay. No matter what your passion is, Northern BC has it all. So we're taking a look at UMBC here. UMBC, our main campus is in Prince George, but we do have 5 other branch campuses in Quesnel, Fort St. John, Kitchener, Terrace, and Prince Rupert. So all our international students, majority of them will be in Prince George unless they're in the specialized program. This is University of Northern BC. I put this picture up because this is my favorite time of the year. This is fall. So as you can see, the colors of the trees start changing and becomes a nice orange glow. This is what it looks like in the wintertime. Winter, it does snow up here. It is very unique. We are having a dry snow. So -10 does feel like 0 degrees in Vancouver to me. I grew up in Vancouver, so I do have some experience to say that. The benefit of UMBC is that once you enter the building, you don't have to go back out. All the buildings are connected, so students can walk freely between classes. Unlike some of the universities where you have to go outside to get to your next building or next class. So that sometimes can be very problematic. We are award winning. We have been top 3 in Maclean's magazines for the last 12 years for primary undergraduates, top 50 research university in British Columbia or in Canada. And we have been also ranked by Times Higher, top 5% worldwide. And we're also in the top 250 young university worldwide, and we're only 1 of 3 universities in Canada that is in that Times Higher Education ranking. We are an elite university, and we're the only university in British Columbia that was opened by Queen Elizabeth herself. So when she visited Canada, this was one of her destination stops because, as you know, Queen Elizabeth is a very supportive part of the education world. We have students from over 15 different countries where we celebrate their globalizations and cultures through this event called Global U, where we have live performance by some of our students. And we also bring different food cultures to them. As a research university, we have endowed chairs. I believe we're missing a slide here. So let me just pause for a second here and let me get that slide out. Do apologize for that. All right, can you guys see the slide? Assuming you guys can. So there are different types of university in British Columbia. In the medical university category, where they offer a medical degree, meaning you become a medical doctor, the only one in British Columbia is UBC. Research intensive, that offers PhD, master's, and research-based program. There's UBC, Simon Fraser, University of Victoria, and then there's UMBC, with the youngest and the smallest of the 4 original research-intensive university. There's also the teaching university that offers course-based masters, undergraduate focus, like Capilano, Thompson River, Vancouver Island University, Royal Roads Universities. And then there's the vocational universities, such as British Columbia Institute of Technology, Langara, Quantum Polytechnic, and also Douglas College. So we are a research-intensive university. What does that mean? That means that our professors are supported by our federal government and also provincial government. So they have it by having something called Canada Research Chairs, meaning that the federal government will nominate them as the specialists in their field. We also have BC leadership chairs. We are trying to get up to about 21 chairs, and we are on our way, except COVID hit. So we're currently this year on 18. So we have about 3 more chairs to hire in terms of that. Our faculty to student ratio is 1:8. We have about 3,800 students. So it is a smaller institution. So you do get the personalized attention. If you include staff and faculty, that ratio drops even more, 1:4. So an example of this, most students do have my personal email address at UMBC. So if they have any questions, they are able to reach out to me and we are able to respond to them. As a big university, as a research university, our first year class size is about 62 students. Now, if you compare that to UBC, Simon Fraser, or even University of Toronto, they could be anywhere from 200 to 300 students in their first year lecture hall. Whereas at UMBC, we are at 62. And the biggest class sizes is the health science at 108. We're called Canada's Green University. Why? Because we focus on environmental program. That's what we specialize in. So every university, as a comprehensive university, they have all the courses, but they don't have a specialized niche. Whereas UMBC, when it was created, it was founded as Canada's Green University because it fits the environment where we are. So we have things like the Wood Innovation Research Lab, where we do wood innovation, how to use wood as a renewable material to build tall buildings and to make it as strong or even stronger than steel and concrete. We also have something called the bioenergy plant that uses wood pulp and wood waste to heat up the entire campus. So that helps us reduce our fossil fuel consumption by 85%. We also have the basketball and soccer team. So if you are into collegiate sports, we do have that available as well. And if you have a student who is athletically gifted in terms of soccer or basketball, for male or female, send us a video. And if our coaches like him, they will be able to provide them with scholarships. Okay. So where do they practice in the wintertime? The Northern Sports Center. So athletic team will practice in the Northern Sports Center, where they have 2 squash courts, 50 hours of drop-in fitness centers, 2 indoor FIFA-approved soccer field, 3 basketball gymnasium, a indoor 280-meter running track, and a lot of different fitness center right now. And I haven't been to the gym since it's open because COVID shut it down. But apparently there's still a lot of space. You can move around freely. They moved some of the weight rooms around. So it is very COVID friendly now. A lot of students who are on campus living on residence are using it. So they can go ahead and use the running track. They can use the fitness center. We also have over 120 different student-led organizations. And we do encourage our students to participate in the student-led organization because it gives them the soft skills that perhaps an academic education may not. So team management, working with time management, soft skills, promoting your organization, all these different things that you may not get from a psychology degree, for example. But you do get if you are in this part of a student-led organization, how to balance your budget, for example. For anywhere from our coffee club to our composting club to our organic green club to our physics clubs, which host their annual throwing pumpkin contests, to our medieval clubs. So these are all clubs that have their own budget and their own fundings. Our university does fund some of these clubs as well. So we encourage all students to participate in this. If they don't want to join the club, they can study abroad. We have 34 options in 18 different countries, and it's also open for international students. So we encourage them to take their learning beyond the classrooms. If they want to go to Antarctica to do a field school, or if they want to do soil sampling with their colleagues in Germany, for example, or if they want to go to Peru or Argentina to do some archaeological digs, or Italy to do some field schools, these are all available for our international students and domestic students. So at UMBC, we're big enough to offer groundbreaking research, but yet small enough to get involved as soon as your first year. How? Well, our professors are involved in research that involves global scale. So research into glaciers and the Antarctica ice shelf, and also the Borneo forest in Argentina, and different lab testing with insert grants, and also MyTex grant with our German partners or even our European partners. So the students can get access to all this, and I'll tell you how in a little bit. So students, if they want to live on residence, it is on campus. As you can see here, we are only 207 steps away. And it is very convenient for the students. If they have the meal plan as well, they can go pick up their dinner or breakfast or lunch and then head to class. The residence or dormitory is set up as apartment style. So they share bathroom, kitchen, and living room. And if they want to get their food, you can get it from the dining hall, which is open from 8 p.m. now to 11 p.m. at night. And it's an all-you-can-eat option with our healthy option as well. If they do require, say, Indian cuisine and they're not used to the North American palate, our chef will be able to make some that is especially catered to them. We also have a nutritionist on campus that helps students cater to their dietary needs. So this is something that's very unique with our dining hall plan. So we do encourage our students to at least try it out once just to see the experience. So this student was brought to my attention about 2 years ago, and she was actually very unique. She was accepted to McGill, Queen's, University of British Columbia, and then us. She ultimately chose us. By the way, all four of the institution gave her full ride scholarship. She was a very bright student, and she got stellar marks in her high school. But she chose UMBC. Why? Because she knew as a small research university, she could get access to our professors and start doing research at her first year or second year, which she ultimately did for her first year. That was something that drew her into UMBC, and also connection to nature. She is from Brazil. Both her parents are professors in Brazil, and they both study natural resources. So she wanted to make sure she was close to nature. So the undergraduate research and also connection to research or connection to nature is why she chose UMBC. Now, what's unique about this student is that she's currently now at University of Toronto PhD student. So she went directly from undergraduate to a PhD program because when she graduated, she had 4 journal articles in her name, meaning that she didn't have to prove any academic paper if she wanted to do a master's program. And it's because through the network and the research that we have helped her define and our network of professors, she was able to find that professor that specialized in the research area that she wanted to do. Now, she's happily in her second year of her PhD program at University of Toronto, and she has a full ride grant plus stipend for doing her research. Now, that is usually unheard of in Canada because they require you to do a master's before a PhD. But because she had such a stellar academic research and journal article, she was able to jump directly over. So these are the advantages of UMBC, being that we are a small research university. So we also have 60 bachelors and 27 masters and 3 PhD. So look at the general entry program. So these are just some of the general entry programs that we have. The unique ones that we have are, for example, the Bachelor of Arts in Nature-Based Tourism Management. Our commerce has computer science, also commerce as accounting and finance, international business, marketing, and we have something called management and information system, which is new. Our conservation science and practice is also very popular. Biochemistry and molecular biology is also very popular as well. So students, if they meet the GPA requirement, they will be able to get in. Now, competitive programs such as applied science, for example, we have 3 engineering programs at UMBC. We have a civil engineer, environment engineer, and a joint degree environment engineer with UBC. Now, that one is our most competitive undergraduate program. And that one, our GPA requirement range anywhere from 87% to 96%. So that was been the last 5 years I've been here. Now, the students, if they get if they meet the GPA requirement, it doesn't guarantee they'll get in. So they will have to make sure that they have to have highest possible GPA in order for them to get in. Okay. Any questions about the program here?
Any questions, anyone? No.
Okay, so moving on. Our English requirement is 6.5, no less than 6 in IELTS. We do take TOEFL as well, 90 no less than 20. We also accept Duolingo at 105 right now. IELTS indicator 6.5, no less than 6. Does somebody have a question?
Yeah. So why we don't take PTE? Pearson
We
test
do
effective.
take PTE.
Okay. And how much score you required?
I would have to check and get back to you on that one. I don't remember that one off the top of my head, but please remind me of that question, and at the end of it, I'll be able to answer you.
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay.
No.
So general requirements, we're looking at 65% based on the BC curriculum. They need to have English 12, 3 approved grade 12 course, and an elective. 65% is that for the BC requirements. Now, we say 65 minimum to apply doesn't mean that you will be able to get into all the courses. So our average GPA entering the programs of the arts, science, and planning and commerce is roughly about 82%. Okay. Our engineering program does have a lot of prerequisites required. 70% is the minimum average to apply. Anything lower than 70%, they will not even look at the application. But we do recommend the students get higher GPA as possible. For the Indian scale, please refer back to Mehak and Dashita. She'll be able to tell you all that. Now, looking at the graduate program, 90% of our graduate program are research-based, meaning that they have to get a supervisor before they apply. The only one that we're being supported in India right now is our MBA program, and that does have a unique requirement. So they do need 3 years of work experience, and it has to be managerial work experience. We don't need GMAT. English requirements the same, 6.5, but we'll talk about the graduate requirement in a bit. Okay. Now, the MBA program is a little bit unique because you complete it in 5 semesters, and you do classes are only 1 weekend a month. So the rest of the time you are doing group projects, and some of our MBA students are working full-time as well. So there is that possibility. If the student can get their own study or work permit, the university will not help them do that. Okay. So the graduate admission requirements, we do need a 4-year bachelor degrees. If they're not a 4-year bachelor degrees from India, then they need to be a 3-year that's not a class. We do calculate the last 60 credits, so it has to be at least 3.0 GPA. And for a program that requires a supervisor, they need to have the supervisor approval before they apply. Okay. Any questions about the MBA application?
So we do require a supervisor in this MBA program.
Not for the MBA program. The MBA is the only one that does not.
All right. And do you require any kind of transcripts from the last bachelor's degree?
We do not. We do require a transcript to calculate this last 60 credits.
Okay. Okay, last 60 credits. And you do require the LORs, the letter of references?
We do letter of references, pending on if it's the MBA program. It has to be at least 1 for their academic reference, and then the 2 can be professional.
2 professional and 1 academic. And also you need the statement of purpose that why the student wants to do MBA from your particular university?
Correct.
All right.
Great question, guys. Okay, so we're moving on to the finance and scholarship. So approximately for 1 academic year, it's roughly about $22,000 to $24,000 for undergraduate program. Now for the graduate program, this is only for the research masters, $6,000 to $8,500. For the MBA, it is about $41,000 altogether. That's a little bit different. If they want to stay on residence, it's about $5,000. Meal plan for 7 days a week is about $5,000. So there are the options. Now, I get a lot of questions asking why our international tuition is so much lower than the other research university. If you take a look at UBC, which is almost double ours, but if you take a look at our domestic pricing, we are almost the same in terms of domestic tuition. Now, the reason why international tuition is higher at the other locations, other research university, is because they have higher cost of living, and they also have more demand. Whereas UMBC, we don't have the high cost of living. That's why we're able to maintain that lower cost of international tuition. And this is something that I'm very proud of at working at UMBC, because we're only a couple more thousand than a advanced diploma degree. So instead of getting a 3-year advanced diploma, you're getting a full 4-year degree. So that's the difference. Okay. And then on top of that, we do give away $3 million of scholarship every year. 1 in 4 students receive a scholarship, so 25% of them. Now, our scholarship and financial award works a little bit differently. Students has to be admitted first before they can apply for scholarships. So we even have renewable scholarships such as a President's Silver Medal Award, which is a $10,000 scholarship that's renewable for 4 years. So these are some unique scholarships that are available in our UMBC. So yeah, this is UMBC. I will happily take any questions you have right now.
I request my team to please ask you the questions. So we are having our branches online. So I am asking my branches so that they are happy to go with their questions. So firstly, I would like to call Ambala. Do you guys have any questions regarding UNBC?
No, ma'am.
All right.
So to answer your question, Saran, we do take the Pearson test of English at an overall score of 65, no less than 60 in the reading, writing, listening, and speaking.
So we can take the applications with PTE also for UNBC.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have one question. Do we have conditional offer letter for MBA program?
We do not at this time.
Okay, sir.
But sir, at this point of time, every institution is providing the conditional applications. So how we can hold the student till the next intake?
Well, they not for the MBA program, I can guarantee you that.
But what about the undergraduate programs?
The undergraduate program, because we are research universities, if the students aren't able to meet our English requirement, they will likely fail. So we don't want to put your agency in that position and our university in that position as well, which is why we don't accept a conditional letter at this point until we have developed a proper academic bridging program, which is currently getting its final approval, which once it's announced, the Shita will be able to tell you guys more about that. It is just because at this time, with the conditional letters that we have received in the past, the students who do not have that English requirement tend to fail, or they tend to not do well at UMBC. You know, we've had several cases of that. This is based on our data that we received from our instructors as well, which is why about a year and a bit ago, we made the tough decision to cancel our language program. So we do understand that may be difficult for our agents, close agents that have been sending us students to do that, but we are doing that for a good reason, and we hope that you guys can understand.
All right, so understand. Okay, so I call Kurukshetra branch. If you guys have any questions related to UNBC, please ask.
In UNBC, is there any scholarship for students?
Yep, we give about $3 million of scholarship, and they're anywhere ranging from $500 to $10,000.
All right.
So how we can avail them, Richard? Like if you can explain them.
Oh, how are they available?
Yeah, how do we avail it? Like during the time of admissions or after admissions? Like how do we counsel students for those scholarships?
So for the scholarships, it is available after the student has been admitted to the university. So they have to be admitted first, and then they can apply for scholarships internally through the My UMBC portal. Some scholarships require them to write an essays, others they just have to apply. For international students, I do know that they have automatically received scholarships once they have been admitted, but it is something that they have to register for classes, or they go through the UMBC portal to apply for those scholarships after they have been admitted to university. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hello. How many
Hi.
backlogs are acceptable for bachelor's and master's?
For backlog for bachelors, we don't usually look at them. For masters, I believe it's 7 or 5 at the most, but I have to confirm with you on that.
So you are accepting maximum 7 backlogs in the last bachelor's.
Yes, if they're applying for the Shita, you want to jump in?
Yeah. It was 5. Like
With number of attempts, ma'am.
5. Yeah, not more than 5.
All right, all right.
Yeah, sorry guys. I've been on vacation for about a week and I seem to lose memory after I come back from vacation. So I do apologize for that. And Dashita, you're right, it is 5.
Okay.
We do have a question on the chat group. What is the refund policy of UMBC after the stage 1 approval in principle? We don't need, the students don't need the study permit in order to register for classes. They can register for classes overseas. And the chances of them getting refused after receiving approval from stage 1 is very minimal unless they commit a crime between that and now of getting their full study permits. So far I have not received any issues for students not getting study permits. But as you know, the IRCC is always changing the requirements. But in terms of the refund policy, it follows our UMBC refund policy. If they do register for classes and for January, if they do want to come over, but they're not able to get the study permit for whatever reason, we will refund the money based on the classes they have, refund the money that's left over from the classes they've taken. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you are saying that if the students are registered for the courses and they have like taken the classes of that courses, those courses refund will not be there.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. All right. Understand. So my colleague from Jalandhar branch, she's asking like, do students need job experience to apply for MBA program?
Yes, they do need 3 years of managerial experience to apply for the MBA program. And it has to be a position where they are managing staff or making critical decisions.
So it is mandatory, sir, if the student is not having like 3 years managerial skills or like managerial experience, then if I have the students like recent pass out student grade bachelor's 2018 or 2019, so that kind of students are not eligible to process their applications for MBA in UNBC.
Correct. They will not be eligible because we do need a 3-year experience.
Okay.
If there are recently passed out students, we do recommend that they take their GMAT and apply for a school that requires GMAT because our schools does not require GMAT and we do put more emphasis on the 3-year work experience.
All right.
Great question, guys.
So another colleague is asking, are you accept 3 years polytechnic diploma for bachelor's degree in engineering program? Like we in India, we are having some polytechnic diploma, the skills diploma. Like after grade 12, students have done their diplomas in mechanical, in computers. So that kind of polytechnic diploma is acceptable in order to get the admission in bachelor's program.
That would be considered acceptable, but you will not be able to receive any transfer credits. We will still need to look at their high school diploma. So any board exams that have taken, they will still need to look for that for prerequisites. The Polytechnic diploma will look at that in terms of do maybe a calculation GPA. So that will be okay as well. We do have another question. How much gap is acceptable after 12th grade, after bachelor? Honestly, if there is more than a 5-year gap or more than a 2-year gap after bachelor or after 12th grade, then we do need to have a good understanding of what happened because that usually to our admission officers indicate fraud because the student has been admitted somewhere else and they have not informed us that they have been into another post-secondary education. So, or if they failed badly for that, okay? So we do require them to provide us a resume if there is a significant gap after the 12th year. But if they say, hey, after my 12th year, I want a year to travel abroad and they have the evidence to show it, that is also acceptable as well. Okay,
Okay,
after
so
bachelor,
sorry to interrupt you, sir. You are saying that 3 years gap is acceptable after grade 12 and maximum 5 years gap is acceptable after bachelor's.
No, I'm saying that it has to be a validated reason. If there is no validated reason,
Okay.
then it's not acceptable. So for example, if your student is completed 12th grade, passed out, and then went to another school, but did poorly in their first year and applied to UMBC after that, but did not tell us that they have done a post-secondary, that is not acceptable. But if they tell me that after 12th grade, they work for 3 years, they have evidence to show that they're working for 3 years, and their results are shown, or they have traveled around the world, they have all the visa stamps that they've traveled around the world, that is acceptable to us. What we're trying to prevent is from students to apply to multiple institutions. And we've had one case where we had a student from China that applied after 4 years of their 12th grade. But we found out that they failed miserably in 2 of the institutions. One is in the US, one was in Italy, and now they're applying for UMBC for their 3rd post-secondary. So that is academic fraud, admission fraud. So we had to deny them, and they went on the blacklist after that, meaning that the blacklist is something that all the registrar throughout Canada has access to. And if the name and the birthday matches, then they will not be able to get into those institutions in Canada who's part of that list.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
Sir,
So
what is
for the bachelor,
hi.
go ahead.
What is the turnaround time for offer letters?
So we usually do 2 weeks turnaround time. So it depends on if you're able to get us a complete application, then we are able to do a turnaround time about 2 weeks.
All right.
All right, sir. So we do have one program, Bachelor's of Arts in Human Studies.
Bachelor of Arts in what?
In Women Studies.
Yes.
So what kind of applications we need to punch for this program particularly? What are you looking for?
They can actually come from any stream.
Any stream.
So any stream, because that one does not require math or any science. So they can come from any stream.
All right. And we consider 60% minimum for MBA program in order to get the admission. More
Dashita?
than 60.
It's basically like from 60 to 65. 65
Okay.
is what we would prefer, but not like less than 60. It should be like 65. So if I've done my bachelor for 64.5, then that will be great. But if it is more than 65, then the admissions letter can have more possibility. There's no guarantee for MBA admissions letter. That is something, that depends on a level of assessments that will take place. And the turnaround time for bachelors, yes, it's 2 weeks, or let's say if the application is complete, it's 1 week. But the turnaround time for masters, it might take a little longer, let's say 3-4 months, just how every university takes in Canada.
So, and also to
Yes.
add to that, our MBA program does have a cohort model where we look at the experience of each candidate that applies to the MBA program to make sure we have a right mix of people. So we always try to find people in finance, to find people in manufacturing, logistics, in manufacturing. So at the time when they're doing group projects, they can contribute their experience to the group project and enhance the MBA experience, which is why it's very important for us to do the work experience. I'll give you an example. We recently admitted a VP of international development for Swatch Watch Group. Have you guys heard of them, Swatch? So they're a big watch company that's pretty global. And this person was in charge of the Philippine market, Southeast Asia market. But his GPA requirement, his GPA was a little bit lower, about 76, so just under a B. But we admitted him because he had over 15 years of international business and logistics experience. So that was the unique part about him, because he had so much experience and he can contribute quite a bit to enrich the program for our students.
Right, sir. Sir, can we take BTech students in MBA program, the recent BTech pass out students?
For MBA program,
Yes, sir.
are they from NAC A universities?
Yeah.
Then yes.
Okay, and then also you require the 3 years managerial experience.
Correct.
Okay, but sir, some universities are not accepting any kind of managerial experience in order to get the admission in MBA program.
But
So
they
the
require
student,
GMAT.
because we okay, if the student is having BTech, like recent pass out 2019 with good grades, so if he's having GMAT, then he's eligible to go with the MBA
He will
without
be eligible
experience.
to go the he would be eligible to go the other MBA program, just not UMBC.
Not in UNBC. So in UNBC, 3 years managerial experience is must.
It's a requirement, yes.
It's a requirement. All right, sir. All right. So I request my other team members, if the guys have any questions, please feel free to ask.
I'm really very nice. Don't be afraid to ask me questions.
I think that we have covered all the questions which are mentioned on the chat section as well. So, any other questions apart from this? So then we can also ask some questions to you guys now.
Sure. So now that you have a better understanding of UMBC, how many students can you get us for next year?
For the upcoming intakes, like January, and you're talking about the whole year.
Well, say January for now, and then September 2021, where we're accepting our engineering students, because for whatever reason, we haven't got a lot of engineering students from India this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the pressure's on you guys.
You have asked a very difficult question.
Yeah.
But Dashita said that you guys are one of the best agents for M Square. So, I mean, there's got to be a reason why she's dragging me out to the office at 9 o'clock at night to do a training session for you guys, right?
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And sir, for the number, Dakshita ma'am, I will be definitely do very hard work on UNBC for the upcoming intakes, and we will provide you the very good number for Jan and my session. And for the commitment of that number, I need to concern with Pradeep sir first, and then I will surely let you know on this. And but yes, we will definitely work so hard for this upcoming intakes. Chaman sir,
I
I'm right.
know. So I was hoping this year that I was going to be able to come visit you guys, because as part of our annual trip to India, the Shita had planned several agency visits, and Western was on that list. Unfortunately, because of COVID, this happened. So I hope that next year we can come with some testimonials from some of the students that you guys sent us. And then you can see some of them, see how, if they're happy, if they're not happy. We'll arrange something so you can get feedback from your students.
Right, so sure, we will definitely get in touch with the students and take the feedbacks.
And next year you'll get very good number of students from Western overseas, because we have planned something different for all the institutions. So don't worry, we'll get good number of students where you'll be happy with Western overseas.
Well, I hope to see good numbers, meaning that 10 or more students from you guys, right?
Definitely, sir.
Definitely.
We'll try.
Because I have a commission budget that I haven't been using, that I need to pay out, but you guys need to send me students.
Mm-hmm.
So
I want to give you the money, but you guys got to send me the students.
So in that case, keep the check ready, sir. We'll definitely try to encash that.
Love it. Love it.
And one more thing, like I don't exactly remember how many students, but 2 of your students are like very much satisfied and they're happy at UNBC. They can be your great reference. You can get in touch with them, with those students, and if you want the name, I can extract those names and give it to you, Simran, and the team. So get in touch with them, and then they can actually be your reference for the other students.
Right, ma'am. Right. I do know the names of the students. I definitely get in touch with them. And ma'am, I'm having one more question regarding the transcripts of the grade 12 students.
So once the admission is done and once the student is ready to fly to Canada, to Prince George, those transcripts should be there with the student in a sealed envelope. And it will be great if the
Okay.
envelope is coming directly from the school itself. Like let's say I have gone to my school, I have my transcripts with me. I'll take the letterhead wala envelope and I'll say that please seal this. I will seal that, keep it in my bag. Once I reach the institution, I'll give it to the administrative team at UNBC because it has to be sealed. Your sealed transcript should be there.
All right. And ma'am, we are accepting all the state boards, CBSE, ICSE, and do we accept NIOS also?
Open board. Uh, Richard, do we accept open board learning or
Open door learning, isn't that mostly for their graduate or a bachelor program?
Yeah.
So as long as it's accredited, then we will accept it. But we do have to make sure that they are not accredited.
All right, sir. All right.
Any other
So,
questions?
there was one more question.
Yeah, actually, there's two. How many days do the students have to attend classes? It depends on the classes that they select. We do recommend that students at least register for 3 classes as per their study permit requirements. Class times depends on the class selection. So for 3 classes, it is roughly about 20 hours of lecture time a week. But we do recommend for every 1 hour they do lecture time, it's about 3 hours of study time. Okay. Is the students have to do MBA foundation if it's from BTech background? No, they do not have to do MBA foundation. They would just have to have more managerial experience if they're from BTech and they have a NOC A approved from a NOC A approved institution. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. These are great questions, guys. Any other questions?
Anybody want to ask anything?
Oh, ma'am.
So now we'll expect for the applications coming in. Mehak and I am always available.
Yes,
Mostly
ma'am.
is more available than I am when it comes to very minute admission requirements because she cross checks each and every document which is being sent to us, and then she will also make sure that you guys are in loop and then we can counsel the student before the student leaves for Prince George campus so that we can tell them that these are the do's and those are the don'ts that they have to follow. Why? Because like Richard explained that we come under the research institution, and research institution is just like equivalent to UBC, Simon Fraser, and so on and so forth. There getting admissions is way too difficult and the fees is way too higher. We are giving you a very affordable tuition fees, and we have got a selected kind of students for these for UNBC. I, out of 100% or out of 90% of the students you send, at least 20% will be those students, those who are actually interested in study. At least 20. So in those 20, UNBC will definitely fall. Just like how UBC falls, just like how Simon Fraser falls. So counsel your students accordingly.
Yeah, if you have any questions, if you do want another webinar, or I know in the past, the Shita has organized live virtual campus tour. I'm not sure if you guys had an opportunity to participate in them, but if that's something that you guys want me to do in the wintertime, then I'm happy to do so. But please contact the Shita and give me at least 4 weeks in advance to plan all this, because it's a little bit more difficult to get around in the wintertime.
Hello?
So I do need more advance notice for that.
And we
Okay.
can send you the YouTube link also of the same, virtual tour, so that you can show it to your students. And I'm sure that they will be 100%, 100%, they will agree to join UNBC after looking at that.
Yeah, one thing that's very unique about our campus is that we do have a very beautiful campus. Our amenities is up top notch. I mean, even right now with the COVID plan that we have to in place, we do have everything ready for in-person face-to-face. We are just waiting for the provincial government and the federal health government to let us know what is safe and what it isn't. But we have everything in place for face-to-face already. So we are prepared to receive the students. It is just that we have to wait for the final authority from them. Okay.
All right.
And there's just one last question. Can you explain admission procedure once? So admission procedure, we'll send you the application form. You can fill that application form, send us your documents, we will assess them. If you want to process it through EPBC portal, we can guide you with our instructions. Otherwise, Mehak can do that for you and can give you the receipt later on. And the next is, can you explain the registration deposit amount to obtain for the offer letter? Yes, it's $7,500 and it's refundable in case of visa rejection. It is refundable. It's $7,500. So I know the institutions in Vancouver and specifically in British Columbia, those who do take that amount of money to release the offer letter. Why? Because we really want serious students to participate in our admissions process also, because that takes a lot of time from our side and then from the registrar side at UNBC.
Right, ma'am.
So yeah, I just want to thank you again for taking the time this morning to join us, and I hope to meet some of you guys in the future. And we do wish, if you have any problems with your students, please do reach out to Dashita and myself. We are here to make sure, because we are such a small institution, we can get to know the students pretty fast and to make sure that they're taken care of, which is what's very unique with us being a research university, that we have that personalized service. So I take care of my agents and Dashita takes care of her agents. So we work together to make sure that you guys are well serviced. So the next step is on you guys to see if you guys can send more money or more students, so you guys can help me take off this commission budget, because I need to ask for more next year. But if there's still money left over, they won't give me more. So I need you guys to take that money from me, legitimately.
Right, sir, definitely. And thank you so much for the informative session. And we people will definitely work hard for UNBC for the upcoming intakes.
Perfect. We look forward to that. If there's nothing else, it is 10 p.m. for me, and I still have to go home and have my late dinner. So I do appreciate this. If there's any other questions, Dashita, you may take over. Other than that, shall we end the session?
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Richard. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Richard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Simran.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you, Dakshita ma'am.